Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Worldhoppers, a collaborative channel where we talk all things books, and all of the proceeds from the channel and from merch sales go to charity. And we are here, yes, like that, like Wally, one of our little t-shirts. He's so cute. And yeah, we are going to be talking about some summary reads today. And I think none of us really are seasonal readers necessarily. But we've come up with some. Roger came up with some lovely prompts that we're going to go through to help us along here in talking about this. So, first prompt, a quick read, something you could get through on a flight on your many summer travels. I am going to go with two that technically, like, they're both super short, like novellas, like 80 pages, which might not even last a whole flight. Taste and Lick by Nikki Clark. They're like vampire, smutty erotica, like in a contemporary world, but with vampires. And they're fun. I enjoyed them. Super quick though. So like I said, might not even last a whole flight, depending on the flight. So then my other one would be Ring Shout. And that's what I was saying, Ingrid, that's like has like spooky vibes because it's like horror.
Yeah.
Also, but it's a novella, and it's like one of my favorite books of all time, and I love it. So
what is it? I've never heard of Ring Shout.
Jelly Clark. Oh man,
it's so good. I read it too.
Alternate history, fantasy fiction where it's back in like the early 1900s, and the Ku Klux Klan have members that are literal like demon monsters called Ku Kluxes. Basically, hate breeds them into like Ku Kluxes. So people join as Klan members, and over time they turn into these literal like rawr demon monsters. And we have like monster hunters who are coming after them. And yeah, it's just great. It's so great. It's one of the like first novellas I've ever read where like immediately I felt like super connected to the characters and like gripped by it, and just like I'm here with like I felt like I was watching like season 3 episode 5 of like one of my favorite TV shows where I'm just like back with my faves, you know. So I would definitely recommend that.
That's the same guy who did the whatever something of Jinn.
Yeah, Master of Jinn, which I didn't love, but I didn't hate, and I was like, is it just like first full-length novel, you know, issues, because he's just done novellas prior. So I'm gonna check out book 2.
Sounds kind of cool though. Ring Shout. I haven't heard that one. I'll put it on a little note to myself.
You should. It's really good. Super good. So what are yours, Roger?
Okay, so I came up with 2 very different ones. So one of them is a middle grade. So Keeper of the Lost Cities. Obviously, so I kind of pick things that feel like they read fast. They aren't necessarily like super short. I think this is like 300, 400 pages, but it is middle grade. And so this is, I mean, it gives you very much like vibes of kind of Harry Potter-esque because it's elves, but the main character doesn't realize that she's an elf. And so in the very beginning, she kind of gets like whisked away into the elven world where they've been hiding these cities from humanity. So you get to see like Atlantis and these different elf cities. And so you kind of get to explore all of these hidden elven cities, and you get to go to this magical academy called Foxfire with her, and you get to do like the whole kind of like magical school thing. So that's always fun. And then, I mean, I think the 9th book is coming out in like November. So
there's that many? I didn't know that. Wow.
There's 8 currently, and then 8.5 is like a novella, but I haven't read 8.5.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I knew there was a few. I knew it was a series, but I didn't know there's that many of them.
Yeah. And then I think originally number 9 was supposed to be the last one, but as I understand it, it's not. There's going to be one more. She's going to do 10.
Okay. Fine.
But we'll see. I mean, authors always say that they're only going to do so many, and then it's super successful, and all of a sudden, you know, that there's 15 extra. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
And the other one, just because it's tiny mass market paperback, and it kind of gives summery vibes because it's like all these like cool, like oceany. And this is Prospero's Children. It's book 1 in a trilogy. It's kind of Portal fantasy-esque. From what I remember, there was like this ancient queen that forged this key to this magical door that she wasn't supposed to do, and it kind of brought along the destruction of Atlantis. And so in modern days, somebody has found that key, and then you can see, obviously, Portal Fantasy, they can go back to Atlantis, and there's like evil mermaids, evil witches, fun, fast, like 300-page mass market. So
nice. Love it.
It does sound fun.
I never heard of it before that second one.
Me neither.
I mean, it's pretty old, probably, like me. Let's see. When
More than you are.
No, I mean, it's only 2000, so it is old, but not like
wow, so old.
So ancient. It's historical.
It came out when I was 10. Dang, okay.
All right. I picked some stuff that is like feel good because that's what makes me think of summer, not necessarily like the genre or setting or stuff like that. So the first one is Life of Melody by Mary Costa.
I almost pulled that one, but I was like, no, there's no way Ingrid's not going to talk about it.
Because it's so good. We have two magical main characters, and one is a fairy, one is a troll variant, which I found that very amusing. And they find a baby in the woods, and they decide to raise the baby together and as a married gay couple in the human world. And it's just so adorable, and it gives you all the good vibes. So I picked this one.
I need to check it out.
It's so good. You have to check it out. You're going to love it. And then I also thought of All Systems Red by Martha Wells, which is a sci-fi little novella about Murderbot, who is a sec unit. Basically, he's supposed to just be like, he's called a sec unit.
A what?
Sec. Not sex. Sec. He just he's like security for humans, and they contract him out, but he's not supposed to be like sentient, or he is sentient, but he doesn't have control of his actions. But he's figured out a way to like hack his government module, and the humans don't know because he goes on about his business. He just likes to like watch like hours of TV shows because that's like what he loves to do. But he just like, he starts to have like protective feelings over the humans, and he like decides to save them. And it's so good. And it's like a whole series.
I hear a lot of people
summary.
Really loving that.
It's so good.
I hear very mixed things. Some people love it, and then some people really don't like it.
Well, it's a sci-fi, but it's very much like character driven. It's about Murderbot. You know what I mean? Like it's just his like adventures.
More than like the world and the like politics or like something.
Very low sci-fi.
I mean, honestly, it might be up my alley.
I mean, if you're not really into sci-fi, and it's like a nice, easy way to transition.
Yeah, it tends not to be my jam. Nope. I love, by the way, that I can see whenever I put the banners up, Luna's little snout in the background.
Does it pop up underneath me?
Yeah, it's like,
there it is.
Look at her.
Her little snoot. Anyway, okay, an action-packed blockbuster feeling read, like a summer blockbuster movie. I selected I had one, and then I was like, ooh, no, this is the best one. Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. Just like all the like, oh my gosh, like crazy action, here comes the cavalry, blah blah blah. I mean, like, Infinity War-esque type moments where I'm like, that would be a good like blockbuster movie if we cut out a lot of the nonsense, which would improve the book as well. So that one, and then also Jade City, the Greenbone saga in general, but like just like the action kind of mafia-esque mob gangsters thing. I feel like that's like that's like a lot of summer blockbuster movies are like that. So I feel like that would be good.
Yeah. I still have to read that. I haven't read it yet. I own it, but I have not read it.
Gotta check it out.
I have to.
I don't know if you'll like it. I can't tell. What do you have there, sir?
Well, I mean, the first one, I do, because I grabbed an extra one because I figured that you were going to bring up Throne of Glass.
Oh,
So I also thought Throne of Glass when I was thinking this, but I
nice.
grabbed the
one
first
of them.
one.
Yeah.
It was on the top of the pile. So I won't talk too much about Throne of Glass, but it does give very much those kind of like fun action movie type vibes.
Yes.
And then another one that, I mean, Ingrid and I were talking before we went live would be Mistborn, because Elle has been hosting a read-along over on her channel for Era 1, because we're getting ready for an Era 2 read-along. And a lot of people know about Mistborn, but I feel like it hasn't been talked about in a while, so Mistborn is fantastic. The kind of setup is basically the world as it would be if the kind of evil Dark Lord had won and had been reigning supreme for 1,000 years. And so it's a very stratified society with nobles and this like slave population called the Ska, and it has multiple magic systems, but only one is really delved into in any detail in the first book, and that is allomancy, where it's very like science-y based, where if you eat a certain type of metal and you can burn it or use it, you get a certain type of power. So tin, for example, your senses are heightened. You can see better, hear better. Pewter, you're stronger, more balanced, faster. Iron and steel, you can push on, pull on other metals and that kind of stuff. So it's very like action-packed. There's lots of flipping, pulling, shooting coins, evil inquisitors with spikes pounded through their eyes. Like, it would make a very exciting movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one, because I am that Forgotten Realms person, so I had to bring up the Forgotten Realms book. And so I picked the one that had like the most oceany cover. And so this is a trilogy. It's called Threat from the Sea. And this one deals in particular with the shark god. And so that is Sekala. And in this particular book, his like head priest has been released from some kind of prison, and he is kind of wreaking havoc around one of the seas. So there's a lot of like sea battles. His priest can transform into a big like megalodon shark, which just makes me think of The Meg. So I thought that that would be like a fun movie, because I have a weird thing for shark movies.
Do you
I
love
don't know
shark
why.
movies?
They're like my favorite. I like shark movies. Alex always makes fun of me because I'll be like watching very intently, and he'll be able to like scare me because I'm like looking for the shark in the murky water. So summer makes me think shark movies. So if you too like shark movies, you're welcome.
There you go.
All right. So for I have one, is Finley Donovan is Killing It by Al Casamano. This feels very much to me like a comedy murder mystery kind of thing. Like in the veins of like Murder Mystery. I don't know if you guys watched the movie on Netflix with Jennifer Aniston. It's just like these characters getting into shenanigans. The main character in this book is an author, and she has just gotten a divorce, and she's like, she has to write these books to get paid, and she needs like an extension because her life has just fallen apart. Like, she has no money, no husband, and she has 2 little kids to take care of. And so she goes to a Panera to meet with her publicist, whoever, like producer, I don't know, whoever the person is. And they are talking about her murder mystery book, and the person sitting next to her kind of mistakes that for her being a hitman. Like, she thinks that she's actually hired to kill people, and so she like gives her like a piece of paper with like an insane amount of money and is like, this is how much I'll pay you if you kill this person. And she's like, yeah, she's like, hit me up in this address and we'll figure it out. And she's like, at first she's like super, like, she was like, I would never do that. But at the same time, she's like, wow, that's a lot of money. And just like shenanigans just ensue after this. Like, it's so funny. I loved this book. And there's also like a murder mystery plot. But yeah,
that does sound fun.
There's a second book too, right?
There is. It's called Finley Donovan Knocks Them Dead.
Have you read that one?
Yes. I prefer the first one. I think it's because it was like the introduction to the world, and like Finley and stuff. I felt like the second one was a lot more subdued. This one just has like a bunch of shenanigans. It's really good.
Fun. I'm gonna write this one down because I don't think I've ever added it to my like for some reason, mysteries, like I don't read them. I hardly ever read them, but I actually like have a fun time when I read them. So
Yeah.
like, I don't know why I don't read more.
It's so good.
All right. Next prompt is a read with traveling / adventure, traveling and or adventure. I picked Son of the Storm by Sui Davies Okunbawa because there's some like, action-packed stuff and like, what's going on? And we need to solve this like riddle and like someone has magic that we didn't think should have magic, or like someone exists that we didn't think should exist, and why is this happening? And the main character is just like a big nerd that just wants to like study all the time and do research all the time. Like literally it's just like, everybody leave me alone and let me read my books and like study things and history and stuff. But then gets caught up in this whole like citywide what's going on with this person that exists thing, and then ends up having to like leave town with someone else, gets put together with someone unexpected, and trying to flee and also go search for the answers. So there's like a portion of it where they're kind of traveling around, and it was fun and I really liked it. And then also The Coward by Stephen Arion. That one is totally like quest fantasy, like 1000%. And I really liked it. And I tend to like, it's like I feel like most fantasy books will have like a little bit of traveling, right? I don't like hate it inherently, but like hardcore, like this is solely just like quest fantasy, can kind of bug me sometimes if they're bouncing around too much. If they're just like, we're going here and then we're going there and then we're back over here again and now we're over here. But this one was very much like point A to point B. And what'd you say?
I said Cushiel.
Yeah, the third one, not the first two. Yes, exactly. Where I'm just like, okay, I get it. Oh my God. But yeah, this one was just like point A to point B and like adventures along the way. And I really had a fun time with it. I like the characters. So there we go.
That one is getting new pretty editions. I see pictures of them all the time from Broken Brandy or whatever.
Like, yeah, they are very pretty. I have the second one. I haven't picked it up yet, but he sent it to me. So I'm like,
ooh. Have you read his other stuff? Because he has like a mage series too, right?
I have them all. I found them at Bookman's, both series. They're kind of like connected series. Like one is like first and then the other one is like continuation. And I have all of them, but I have not picked them up yet.
Because The Coward is something like he's famous for having done something, but then he
went on
to do something again.
Yeah, they defeated the big bad like 10 years ago, and he was part of the team, the heroes that were selected to go defeat this big evil, and he was the only one that made it back. And he's like, I wasn't a hero, I was a coward and just was lucky. But then is asked to go do it again, and he's just like, damn it. Like, I just want to like live my life in my little village and just, I don't want to do this. And like the first time I did it, I didn't even really do it, but okay. So it's just like him doing the same thing again, but like this time fully knowing like I actually was a coward and I didn't do anything. I wasn't a hero. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
That's kind of different, like a very different setup.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the granddaddy traveling fantasy, but I won't bother talking too much about it. Lord of the Rings. I mean, come on. But
granddaddy.
Yeah, it really is.
The other ones I'll talk about, this is the one that has autumn in the title. So this is Dragons of Autumn Twilight. It's book 1 in the Dragonlance Chronicles. And the setup for this is, it's very similar vibes to like a Forgotten Realms, like, but very traditional, like adventure questing type fantasy. But in this one, it's like a group of people that were friends that then kind of split up and went their own ways and have been coming back together because there's whispers of this war that's brewing in their world. And so they're all coming back together, but they all have secrets of what happened when they were apart that you kind of find out throughout the series. And this series has one of my favorite brother relationships ever. Raistlin and Caramon are everything. Raistlin always makes me sad though, because he's a mage. And to be a mage in this world, you get put through these like heinous tests to like see if they can basically break your mind before they'll let you be like a full-blooded mage. And so for him, they like broke his eyesight. So like his eyes are these hourglasses, and everything that he sees it as it's dying and decaying. So he's a really interesting kind of like messed up character.
That sounds terrible. Not the book, but like what he deals with.
And his brother's like a cinnamon roll who's like the big beefy warrior dude who's always helping his frail little mage brother. It's very sweet. Even though his frail little mage brother maybe sometimes doesn't deserve help. Because he does some questionable
activities.
Yeah, and then the other one that came to mind is the Elminster saga. So this is like a bind up of the first three. The first one is Elminster Making of a Mage. And it's Elminster Almar is like the most famous archmage in the Forgotten Realm. So he's the chosen of the goddess of magic. So he's uber ridiculously powerful, but this is like his origin story pretty much, where you see him as like a little farm boy and his town gets attacked by a psychotic wizard riding a dragon, and he just like blows up the town and does all kinds of messed up stuff. And so Elminster gets taken in and starts to learn how to do magic because it's like a revenge type plot where he wants to get revenge on that psycho dragon rider who killed his family. And then,
as one would,
there are many more books after this because you do follow him when he is much more intense with his magic later on. But this is where it all starts.
I still want to get into the Forgotten Realms, and I'm obviously gonna go, rewatch your video to like determine when I do want to.
The one that you would like the best is War of the Spider Queen, because it is. Many of them are kind of quest fantasies, but that one in particular, you have like the kind of messed up, snarky, backstabbing, like kind of like political layers on top of it that I think would kind of make it different enough that you would still. It's not just like the goody two shoes traveling around fighting evil. It's like kind of messed up people.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. It's just so daunting. There's so many books and like different series within the world. I'm just like, what? It's a lot. But it's like, it's one of those things where I'm like, if you get into it and you love it, then like you have this plethora of books to choose from in this world that you love. So it's also like, oh, that'd be really cool,
Well, plus it's like if you like the world, but you don't like the type of plot or the particular writing style, there are so many other options because there's been so many authors. It's kind of been...
Yeah, check it out sometime. All right, Ingrid, what's yours?
So I got Elle to buy... she has a bunch of the War of the Spider Queen now.
Oh, does she? Oh, nice.
Oh, is that like a series within the series?
Yeah, so Forgotten Realms
is
the
just
world. Forgotten Realms is a world, and then within it, there's a bunch of different series. So the War of the Spider Queen is a 6-book series within the world that follows.
And you can start at any point?
Yeah. I mean, I have a whole video about it. It's more like if there's particular things that you want. So there is like a timeline within the world. So if you were one of those psychotic people that's like, I need to read things in like in-world chronology. You can do that, but the series are very not.
You're like, I'm the crazy.
Because it's like a whole planet with different races, different people, different places. So there's different like things.
I mean, it sounds kind of like, other than being written by different authors, like Discworld, where by Terry Pratchett, where it's like this huge world with all these different series, and you can kind of start in like so many different. There's like charts on like where to start in Discworld depending on how you feel or what you like. It's like a lot, but that's all written by one author. So I feel like with Forgotten Realms, like you said, even more so, like if you don't like one of the books or one of the series, it's like, well, don't read from that author in this world again. Like pick a different one.
Yeah, because the part that gets complicated is it's like a Dungeons and Dragons campaign setting. So it is kind of controlled by Wizards of the Coast. So every once in a while, D&D will release some huge campaign or some like world altering thing. There was like the Spell Plague or the Sundering. And so there are books pre and post that. So there are like little nuggets in there if you know about those big events. Or sometimes there's books that are taking place during it. Like there's a series during the Time of Troubles where the like overgod Owl kicked all the gods out of like their heaven per se. And they're all in avatars on Earth, just wreaking havoc, trying to get back. But for me, I would say that you kind of want to start with whichever series. So there's ones with dragons in the focus, sharks, snakes, wizards, dark elves. Like, so I would say that you kind of pick one of those that calls you the most. And then if you're like into it, you can go back and look at more like big world chronological things. But I wouldn't say start there because there is a lot.
So interesting. Fun.
Yeah.
The Alex's
World.
favorite of all time is The War of the Spider Queen, and then that one in particular, it's the dark elves that live in these subterranean caverns, and they're pretty evil, messed up things, and they worship this evil demon goddess Lolth. And in this world, there's arcane magic and then divine magic. So for divine magic, you kind of call on your goddess or god, and they give you spells and grant you power. And so she's gone silent. And so this, and the dark elves in particular, they're a matriarchal society where their priestesses are like the top of the food chain, and now they've lost their magic. And so it's like the political machinations of them trying to hide the fact that they've lost their magic while trying to send a group to find out like what's going on, what happened to her. And so it's very Gods Among Us because eventually they travel all the way to her home plane, the Demon Web Pits.
Sounds intense.
Ooh, it does.
Fun.
All right, mine is not so intense. I picked It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This is a romance, and it's about Piper, who, have you guys watched Schitt's Creek? Or no?
Yeah. We got him to watch it.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. The main character is based on Alexis from that show. So she's like a spoiled rich brat, and she's just kind of doing crazy stuff. And her stepdad sends her to Washington to run like a dive bar that belonged to her biological father, who has passed away. And she's like this prissy girl that has to like deal with all these like fishermen, and she has to like open this bar in the summer and like learn how to do all these different things. And yeah, the romance is between her and a fisherman, and it's so good. She does really like remind you of Alexis. That's like one of my favorite parts of this. But yeah, it's like a fun summer read.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people really, really love that.
Yeah, it's good.
Especially because of like her character and stuff.
I know. I read the second one because I liked the first one so much, and it wasn't as good. I think I really liked it because of how much it reminded me of Alexis. Yeah.
Yeah. The like connection to it.
Mm-hmm.
So is it like a whole series of books, or is it?
Yeah, I guess there's only 2 books out. The second one came out, I think, in June. But it's called the Bellinger Sisters series. So the first one is about Piper. The second one is about her sister, Hannah.
Okay. Makes sense.
Piper just makes me think Charmed.
I know.
All right. A read with a desert/hot setting. Guess what I picked?
Oh, no. Did you pick the same thing I did?
Maybe. The Final Strife?
Oh, no.
Or no? Oh, did you pick City of Brass?
Yes.
You picked City of Brass? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That was going to be my second one, but then I was like, eh. So my second one, so The Final Strife, yeah, is like a hot desert with, you guys read it, but just for everybody else. It's like an African-inspired world. Like Ghanaian, like folklore, and then Arabian myths. So a little mixture there of kind of like the inspiration for the world and stuff. And we have people with 3 different colors of blood, and the reds do blood working, basically like blood magic, drawing runes with their blood that does different things. And they are oppressing the other people with blue blood and with clear blood. And it's a little grotesque at times, the stuff they do to them. Yeah, the world, it's very like hot desert winds that come through and like literally rip people's skin from their bones. So that came to mind with the desert setting. And then the second one would be The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. It's a young adult fantasy duology, heavily focused on romance, as a lot of young adult can be. And it's kind of like a reimagining of 1001 Nights. So another like Arabian myth thing, and it's very much desert world and hot, and I love it. It's one that held up on reread, like a young adult one that I loved like years and years ago that held up on reread, where I was like, yeah, I still really like this, and it's still really fun. The main character, Shazi, is just like one of my favorite female characters. Sometimes people hate her. Like reviews will be like, she's the worst. It's stupid little spoil. And I'm like, I thought she was fun. I liked her. She's very sassafras and very like refusing to let men disrespect her, and like very like clever, witty, like comebacks in the moment to like put people in their place. And I just love it. Like, hell yeah. That's right. So
Those ones have really pretty covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do. I have the original ones in hardcover, and then I have the paperbacks. The more like abstract looking paperbacks. There's like 4 different editions. But yeah, like anyway. Roger, what you got?
Okay, so again, I'm just mixing in middle grade because I can. So this is the Kane Chronicles by Mr. Uncle Rick Riordan. So this is his Egyptian mythology-based trilogy. So in this one, we're following a brother and sister, I think Carter and Sadie Kane, and Set, one of the gods of ancient Egypt, starts to kind of wreak havoc, and obviously Egypt, hot setting. The magic in this one is one of my favorites from his series because it's like a hieroglyphic-based magic system where they basically they can like summon the hieroglyphs in the air around them and do different cool like magic-y things. So there's that. And then the other one is The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah, which came out earlier this year. And it is another one of those like inspired by 1001 Nights. I've never read the originals, but it feels almost like gender bent Aladdin because you kind of have this spoiled prince and this like girl thief who gets sent on a quest to find a magic lamp that can basically grant the owner of it wishes. And so there's lots of cool stuff that happens. And then the ending, especially, I wouldn't say that it's like a super dramatic cliffhanger, but it kind of introduces a new setting that I think is exciting. So that one was really super fun. So if you like Jinn or that kind of stuff, then I would highly recommend.
I have it sitting on my cart, my book cart right now. Of like,
that's one of those ones that's super pretty when you look at it close because it almost looks like textured.
Yeah, it does. I like the cover a lot. All right, Ingrid.
All right. I already spoiled my pick, but it's City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This is set in 18th century Cairo in the beginning of the novel, but we quickly move to the magical city of Daevabad because Nari, the main character, has accidentally summoned a jinn, and then just all the crazy stuff happens. But this is set in Cairo, Egypt, so also very deserty. Yeah. In hot.
Even in Daevabad.
Even in Daevabad, yeah. I just
thick.
love this series. She's thick. She's thick.
Yeah. All 3 of them are pretty.
All 3 of them. But they're so good. I love this. Like, and they're quick reads too, right? Like as soon as you get into it.
Yeah, they were like compulsively readable, I feel, for sure.
Yeah.
If you don't hate that one character.
I mean, I did hate him, and it was still compulsively.
And she still read it. Yes.
Yeah. Did we buddy read all 3 of those? Am I crazy? Am I drunk?
No, I think I read the first one and then I was like, you have to read this. So then I.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Then
you had like
read the 3rd one or 2nd one and the 3rd one.
That's right.
It's so good.
Yeah, I liked it. It's one of those series though, the books where like over time I've like been like, do I like it as much as I thought I did? I don't know if I did. But it's literally just tainted because of Dara. Like anytime I think about this series, my first thought is my visceral like hatred for that character. And like genuinely like I don't know if I could ever reread it because I feel like I would be like upset. Like genuinely upset. So I don't know.
I didn't like Dara, right? Like I didn't hate him as much as you did though.
Yeah.
Like I can see why people root for him and like him, and I can see why you didn't like him, but I didn't hate him, you know?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't see why people like him at all or root for him. But it's a good series. Like, yeah, I'm very excited for her new one.
I know, me too. Silver something, right? No,
the new whole new series.
Oh, but she has like a
something of what is it?
Oh,
The
I didn't even
Adventures.
know about this.
The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
I
coming out
didn't know
next
about
year.
this. But
Mhm.
there is like a story coming out about in the
Yeah.
world of City of Brass, right?
Mhm. Yes, it's like
Okay.
a bind-up kind of thing. Yeah, this
Okay.
is historical fantasy pitched as Sinbad the Sailor meets Ocean's 11, where an infamous retired
Ooh.
pirate gets pulled back into the game when she's offered to right a wrong from her past and score a fabled treasure. But assembling her old crew and outwitting a ruthless ex-crusader are her only problems because she's learned the hard way. The fantastical legends behind such treasures hold deadly truths, and they're coming for her. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I'm definitely gonna read it.
I'm very excited for that.
So is Daevabad, it's more like Arabian jinn type stuff, not because I always hear Cairo and I'm like, ooh, Egypt, but I was like, I don't think that's what it is. Like it is in
Yeah.
Egypt, but it's not really Egyptian
Yes.
mythology.
No, it's not like Egyptian mythology necessarily. They're in like Cairo for like a little bit and then
Mhm.
like are quickly out of there and just like in the surrounding like world. And
Yeah.
it's still like the setting is like a similar setting, but yeah, like the folklore and like the mythology.
Well, there is
isn't-
like some Egyptian
Well,
mythology
yeah, there's like
mixed in,
Sebek
like
or
the
whatever.
gods
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, some of the gods are there. Like in the
Yeah.
river.
I'll have to check it out.
Mhm.
The
That's what I was
crocodile
thinking.
god or whatever.
Sobek. Yeah, Sobek, right?
Who I like. Yeah, Sobek.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Who is like yeah, that is part of like I think Egyptian mythology, right?
That is, yeah, like the
Mhm.
crocodile headed god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. So yeah, there is some of it, but
Oh,
it's
so good.
it's not like just that though, I would say. Like it's like a mixture of different things. It is very good though. So I still would
Mhm.
recommend it to people. Just don't talk to me about
Just
Dara if you
waiting
like
on
him.
Dara.
Yeah, if you like him, don't tell me about it. Will upset me to my core. Oh Lord. All right, well, that's all I have. I don't have I was trying to think of like any others that like struck me as like summary. City of Girls popped into my head, but that's just because I can read that anytime and happily read it anytime. So I'm like, oh, that's summary. I'm like, is it though? A decent amount of it takes part, like take in the summer though.
Yeah.
And like doing little summer city shenanigans, I guess, but nothing else about it really. It's like particularly summery and like romance stuff. I think a lot of times like cutesy, maybe like I'll Give You the Sun, but that's kind of dramatic. There's parts of it that are like emotional. Not a lot of parts, but like towards the end, there was a part that made me actually cry. Real tears. So
if you want to cry during your summer, I'll give
lighthearted summer. Yeah, nobody wants to cry in the summer.
Some people do.
I know. But you guys have any other ones? Any other things that popped in that you wanted to recommend?
I don't think so.
Or like transitional, like from summer to fall, or I don't know, anything like that. Again, I'm not a seasonal enough reader to like have that like detailed of a recommendation.
I mean, there's one that I read during a summer, so in my brain it's like linked to summer, but it's really not like a summery read, and so that's The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova.
That looks so serious.
It's kind of like what are those like Dan Brown books or whatever, where it's like the kind of mystery type stuff. And this one, she's trying to hunt down Vlad
like
Tepes.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, so she's hunting down Vlad the Impaler in this one.
Oh, that does
And
sound
so this
cool.
one in particular, I remember because when I was younger, we went on a trip in Italy. And so they traveled to a bunch of different monasteries and stuff. And I was actually at these monasteries when I was reading this book. So that's why it's like,
oh, that's so
cool.
So maybe
I feel like
if you
I saw someone talking about that book a while ago. Oh, it was Allie, Hardback Hoarder, when she did like her vampire video.
Oh, really?
Like she like dressed up like did a whole vampire like cosplay thing and like talked about a few books, and she talked about that one. I remember that now. I was like, that sounds so freaking familiar now that you said that.
Yeah, it is a quest for the truth about Vlad the Impaler, the immortal medieval ruler whose barbarous reign formed the basis of the legend of Dracula. So, if you want like a mystery type,
I guess, yeah, that could be fun. I mean, I feel like that's like a blockbuster, like like you said, like the Dan Brown You know,
I just could not remember for the life of me remember what that book was called or that movie.
What is it called? The Da Vinci Code.
That
Da
one.
Vinci Code.
That
One of the like
I
most
was like,
famous
wait, I
movies
know
ever.
this.
Like,
So if you want like vampire-y Da Vinci Code, there you go. It's another oldie one though. It looked like it came out in 2005.
so old.
It's
I was-
wild that that's almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, I was
Back in my day.
I was a year out of high school. All right, well, I don't have any other ones. So I guess it can be done. This might be like the fastest Worldhoppers video.
Wait, I have a honorable question
Oh,
for
what?
you guys. Honorable mention question. What about TV summer, like summer
Oh.
feeling TV shows?
TV
Can you
Rex?
think of anything on the spot?
I mean,
Huh.
the first one that pops in my mind is Heartstopper because we were just talking about cute romance.
Yeah.
Oh
Cute
yeah,
romance.
that is cute.
Heartstopper.
I feel like that one kind of summer TV. I'm like, I just watch the same sitcoms over and over again. And then I'm like Umbrella Academy, but I haven't even watched season 3. And like, I don't know if
haven't
that's
either.
like, but it's kind of like blockbustery action, I guess. But
I watched season
Yeah.
1. It was.
yeah,
Did you like it?
that was sufficient.
Time travel is a hard sell for me, and I feel like
Mm-hmm.
usually, at least from like the TV shows that I'm used to watching, when we get to the time travel stuff, we're going off the deep end, and it's just getting weird. And so that is
Mhm.
like the whole crux of Umbrella Academy is just embracing the like BS time traveling
Weird.
thing, where like
Yeah.
it's not really going to make sense. There are
That's
going to
why I
be
said
probably
don't-
plot holes that you could be like,
Don't keep watching. Don't watch season 2 because if you don't like that, it gets more like wild and intense. Going back to like the 60s and the grassy knoll and like it's a whole thing that I feel like you would just be like, okay. Even though I love it, I just think it's super fun, but season 2 is my favorite. What other like summer shows though? Game of Thrones. It's not on anymore, but
I mean, I guess summer is a time to watch super
To
long
read.
shows.
Yeah.
I've been making Alex. I've been making Alex watch Charmed. So
Oh
this
my
is like
gosh.
our edition. This is where the CDs are. It's like the collector's edition, so it has like all the discs in like a replica of the book. Of
nice.
Oh
How
my
fun.
god.
Oh, I
What
have a
season
full-size
are you guys
replica,
in?
too. I think we're in season 2 right now.
I feel like that is a good though. Like, okay, so that makes me think of like the like Vampire Diaries and the originals.
Yeah.
The like kind of campy drama like stuff feels like summer's a good time. Even though it's like
Summery.
vampires and that's like Halloween-y, but I'm like, because it's like teen drama really with like vampires.
Yeah.
And, like,
Are you ready for this though, Ingrid? I'll grab it.
Go ahead, grab it.
Actually-
Let me see it.
To see the extent that I go to. Oh,
Your replica thing?
so heavy.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's literally
huge.
like, well, it's literally like a full size.
And it has
like-
spells and stuff. Is that what it is? And
It's
all the
literally
genies?
like a prop replica. So it has like
Oh, wow.
every. It has like
Everyone
every
thing.
single,
Yeah.
That's so cool. Like
Like,
I don't
that
watch,
is
I
cool.
watch the show,
like
but
every
like
spell or potion that
such
they
a cool
have.
thing to have.
Yeah.
So fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I got it when I
love
graduated high school, and it's like super fancy. So it has like the old school
The
because it's like
deckles edges.
hand bound by like
Yeah.
this like super
Mhm.
traditional bookmaker, where
How
he has like all the
freaking
information
fun.
about like his book binding process, and it's all like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. It is so heavy though. You could kill somebody with this thing. Like,
Yeah, it looks heavy. It genuinely looks really heavy. My God. Yeah, I think
Oh
that's
my
a good
God.
that's a good TV summer though. Like that kind of show that's
Yeah.
just like
campy, tons of fun.
I have
Yeah.
drama, fun.
I have the Fear Street trilogy. Have you guys watched that?
The movies.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
saw
said
it twice.
like it feels
we
like
watched it twice because it was so fun.
it's so good. And it's like scary, but not really. I told Sean to watch it even though she doesn't like scary stuff. Because it does
It's not super
it
scary,
feels
but it
very
is
campy.
gory.
Yes,
Lord.
but that's like that screams summer to me. I don't know why, but like all this like campy Halloweeny like. Well, the second movie the is set in summer camp, so maybe that's why I associate with it.
Yeah.
But it's so good. You have to watch it, and it's based
No, it
on
is
Is it
good.
books,
on?
like a book series.
Netflix? It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
On Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll check it out.
And it
And
feels
it's only
very
3 movies.
90s.
It's not that big of a commitment.
No, it's
Not
not.
like
You
we're
have
trying
to
to-
watch it.
What order are they in? Oh, part 1 is 1994.
Yeah, 94, 78, and then 1666.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's like a mystery at the center of it. So you
Mhm.
start kind of in present day in the whatever it is,
But
90s.
it's in the 90s. Yeah.
And then you jump back to the generation before, and then you jump back to the origin of the problem.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then it comes full
it's
circle
good.
and back into the modern day.
Mhm. Mhm. Now that we're talking about it, I want to watch it again.
Well, the type
watched
of
it,
horror
like,
that I
twice.
like, I kind of like the horror that has like that mystery, supernatural element to it. That's the kind of horror that I
Mhm.
like.
I don't like horror where I don't like paranormal, like demons possessing children or like ghost hauntings, like the Amityville horror where like this possessed demon house spirit is haunting. I mean, like I can't, it just like creeps me out
Mhm.
to
It's
my
not
very
that.
core, especially like children being creepy little weirdo demon things. I'm just like, no, thank you. I can't do it. I couldn't get past the like main menu of the Ring DVD. Like just the main menu because it has like the repetitive like crawling out, and I was like,
Yeah.
nope, I'm out.
Nope, turn it off, turn it off.
Yeah, like I literally can't watch this 0%.
This is much more like campy slasher flick type.
Yeah, I find
Yeah.
that like slasher stuff I can be okay with. Even though it will like creep me out a little bit, like
Mhm.
even like Halloween, I watched that for the first time last year, and it's really not like
No,
it's like
it's
and
not
it's from like the
scary.
70s. It's such like 70s like filmmaking and like
Vibes. Yeah.
whatever. But I just was like, I'd be at home and be like, I wonder if there's a guy standing in my yard staring at me. So I had a few days of those thoughts that had to go away, but not like really terrifying me, but just like, oh, that'd be creepy, right?
If your street's more, it's like an ancient witch's curse.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. That's kind of fun. That sounds fun. As
It
long as
is
there's
very
not
fun.
demon children
No.
scuttling about the ceiling or something.
No.
I like how we both had to think about it. We're both like, wait.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe
Wait,
there
is
are.
there? No. No, there
If I watch
isn't.
this and that's all that's in it, I'm gonna be so mad at you.
I mean, there is, but he's not scuttling on the roof. There's that one boy who has like a little bat or whatever, or a crowbar with a little mask.
That freaking creature in The Witcher that did that. That was like I was like, oh jeez, cannot watch this. No.
There's no scuttling weirdness though. They all walk normally.
Okay.
Yes. Creepily, but they walk normally.
That's good. I'll see. I'll report back if I check it out. I'm scared now.
It's very good. Very campy.
I mean, it's based on some books by R.L. Stein. So if you ever read like Goosebumps, it's like that kind, but more adult.
I never read R.L. Stein
he
because I
wrote,
was
like,
scared. I was like, it's scary.
Because those were like middle grade horror, and I think Fear Street was his like young adult horror series.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Oh, is it? Is there more? Because I kind of want to read it.
The movies are not based anywhere on his books. His books are much more like the.
Yeah, they're just like inspired by it, kind of, right? Like the.
Yeah. So I've heard that the books are nowhere near as good. The movies are significantly better.
Oh, okay, then forget it. I won't read
But
it.
there are a bunch of books in the Fear Street world.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. All right, I guess we can stop because now we're just rambling about
I know.
horror movies. We got off on a whole other thing. As per usual with Worldhoppers videos, here we are at the end, not on topic. It's fine. We're talking about like moving into fall, right?
Yes.
Horror stuff.
Summary.
All right, well, thanks for joining me, guys, and thank you everyone for watching. Let us know what some of your answers to the prompts might be for some summer recommendations or books that feel summery to you for whatever reason. And yeah, we will talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.